too long. We are going to tackle it under this government, Mr. Speaker, but on all these measures, I think it is very, very important that the House remembers they are more effective when all financial centres move forward together. And that is what the UK has been organising.
Mr. Speaker, I think I heard the Prime Minister say that the economic crime bill will be in the next session. I hope I misheard that. But I can assure him, if he brings it forward in this session in coming days, it will have our support. There's no reason to delay this. Let me also turn to the elections bill. As it stands, the bill would allow unfettered donations from overseas to be made to UK political parties from shell companies and individuals with no connections to the UK. Labour has proposed amendments that protect our democracy from the flood of foreign money drowning our politics. We can all now see how serious this is. So will the Prime Minister now change course and support these measures in the House of Lords?
Mr. Speaker, we have very tough laws, tough rules in this country to stop foreign donations. We don't accept foreign donations. You have to be on the register of the UK electoral register to give to a UK political party. And before he starts chucking it around, Mr. Speaker, I just remind him the largest single corporate donation to the Labour Party came from a member of the Chinese Communist Party.
No, Mr. Speaker. At this moment, as the House agreed yesterday, we have to stand united. And I am not going to be deflected from it. I note the Prime Minister did not agree to change the elections bill. I think that's a mistake, and I ask him to take it away and look at it again, those amendments in the Lords. Putin has invaded a sovereign European nation. He is attacked because he fears openness and democracy, and because he knows that, given a choice, people will not choose to live under erratic, violent rule. He seeks division. We must stay united. He hopes for inaction, so we must take a stand. He believes that we're too corrupted to do the right thing, so we must prove him wrong. And I believe that we can. So will the Prime Minister work across the House to ensure that this is the end of the era of oligarch impunity by saying that this House and this country will no longer be homes for their loot?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I don't think any government could conceivably be doing more to root out corrupt Russian money. And that is what we are going to do, and I think we can be proud of what we've already done and of the measures that we have set up. And Mr. Speaker, I'm genuinely grateful for the tone of his last question and for the support he has given. And he is right that it is absolutely vital that we in the UK should stand united. And people around the world can see that the UK was the first to call out what President Putin was doing in Ukraine. We've been instrumental in bringing the world together, the Western world together in lockstep to deal with the problem, to bring together the economic package of sanctions that I have set out. And Mr. Speaker, there is still time for President Putin, as I've said, to de-escalate. But what is at stake, being absolutely no doubt, is not just the democracy of Ukraine, but the principle of democracy around the world. And that is why the unity of this House is so important today, and it is absolutely vital that the United Kingdom stands together against aggression in Ukraine. And I am grateful for the broad support that we've had today from the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Following last week's Q&A at the Shepley Village Association, and after receiving a huge number of complaints from constituents, it is clear that speeding is a major problem, not just in Shepley, but across all parts of Dewsbury, Mirfield, Kirkburn and Denbydale. Rather than action being taken after people have been killed or seriously injured in collisions, would my right honourable friend agree with me that prevention is better than the cure, and that the Department for Transport Circular 2007 needs a long overdue review?
Prime Minister.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Look, I thank him and I share his passion on this issue as a cyclist, and I do think that we need to crack down on speeding, which does play a role in excessive deaths on our roads. And the Department of Transport is updating the circular that he mentions on the use of speed and red light cameras. And I'd urge him to get in touch with my right honourable friend, the Secretary of State.
Leader of the SNP, Ian Blackford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, this side of the House made clear that the SNP stands united against the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and this needs to be included with tougher and stronger sanctions. But as the chair of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee rightly said, we shouldn't be waiting for Russia to attack others to clean up the corruption and Russian money which has been fueling in the UK. Under the Tories, a sewer of dirty Russian money has been allowed to run through London for years. I went to the Prime Minister, the then Foreign Secretary, in 2017, and I raised the issue of limited partnerships, 113 of which have been used to move $20.8 billion out of Russian banks. Corruption on an industrial scale. Why did the Prime Minister do nothing back then? And why is he still doing nothing now?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful to him. I think that he was right to come to me then, and I've always enjoyed talking to him, as I've told him many times. I think he's right on the issue. We do need to stop corrupt Russian money in London and every other financial capital. That's why we've already taken the steps that we have taken, but we are going much further to uncloak the true owners of Russian companies and Russian properties in this country, and high time, Mr. Speaker. No country is doing more than the UK to tackle this issue.
Ian Blackford.
Mr. Speaker, that meeting was 5 years ago, and I offered to work with the Prime Minister 5 years ago, and nothing has happened. The truth is that Russian oligarchs who give the right people in power a golden handshake have been welcomed into London for years. Their activities weren't stopped, they were encouraged. And plenty of these golden handshakes just so happened to find their way into the coffers of the Conservative Party. Mr. Speaker, £2.3 million, in fact, since the Prime Minister took office. A leading American think tank has publicly raised concerns, and I quote, about the close ties between Russian money and the United Kingdom's ruling Conservative Party are a block to stronger sanctions. How can our allies trust this Prime Minister to clean up dirty Russian money in the UK when he won't even clean up his own political party? Will he finally commit to giving up the £2.3 million his party has raised in from Russian oligarchs?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I just think it's very important for the House to understand we do not raise money from Russian oligarchs. People who give money to this, we raise money from people who are registered to vote on the UK Register of Interest, and that is how we do it, Mr. Speaker. And I think his indignation is, I'm afraid, a bit much, coming from somebody whose very own Alex Salmond is a leading presenter on, as far as I know, on Russia Today, which the leader of the opposition has just called on this country to ban.
Sir Bill Wiggett.
The River Wye, pollution, flooding, house building and the wider environment are all important to my right honourable friend. So will he meet me to discuss the future of the Environment Agency?
Oh, Prime Minister.
Well, I'm always happy to meet my honourable friend, and I congratulate him on his recent elevation. But, Mr. Speaker, I also must say that I think the Environment Agency faces many challenges and does an outstanding job of building flood defences. 314,000 homes are better protected than since 2015, and we continue to invest massively to help them. But I'm always happy to meet him.
Caroline Lucas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, when I asked the Prime Minister about Russian meddling in UK elections, He looked very shifty before claiming he wasn't aware of any. Yet, when he was Foreign Secretary in 2017, in a joint press conference with the Russian Foreign Minister, when Lavrov claimed there was no evidence that Russia had interfered in UK elections in any way, the now Prime Minister corrected him by saying there was no evidence of successful interference. So can the Prime Minister tell us what evidence he has seen of unsuccessful interference? Has he actually read the Russia report, which is very clear that there is credible evidence of interference? And given that, as his Defence Secretary said earlier this week, information is as powerful as any tank, can he explain why he's turning a blind eye to allegations of Russian disruption and playing fast?
Order. I hope we're coming to the end of the question. I do need to get
Speaker, I could be a lot faster if I wasn't being barracked by the side opposite.
I think the challenge is that I do want to get the front benches moving quickly. We want to get speed into it, so I'm sure it's the end now.
Given that, as his Defence Secretary said earlier this week, that information is as powerful as any tank, can he explain why he is turning a blind eye to allegations of Russian disruption? Why is he playing fast and loose with our national security?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I repeat what I told her ages ago, if I think I've got it right. I've seen absolutely no evidence of successful Russian interference in any of our any electoral event, Mr. Speaker.
Gareth Bacon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I welcome the steps the government is taking to help hard-working families in Orpington this year with their energy bills, and the majority of people